So Brett Baier got dragged by Kamala Harris on Fox News, and now Fox News is in panic mode, and Baier's out there trying to do damage control because of just how disastrous that interview went for him, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy or a nicer network. They have tried so hard to portray this image that Kamala couldn't do sit-down interviews, that she couldn't take questions, that she had to have a teleprompter. They shot every ridiculous conspiracy theory they could at us when it comes to Kamala, even trying to say that she's in decline and that she needs to take a cognitive test. And then she sits down on Fox News and just absolutely drags Brett Baier. And now they're in panic mode and trying to figure out, how do we do damage control? So what he's saying now is that he actually did mean to play the clip where Trump said that we are the enemy of the people. He meant to play that clip, he says. Take a look at him trying to dig himself out of this hole, and then we're going to show how he's just flat out lying.
Make a mistake, and I want to say that mistake. When I called for a soundbite, I was expecting a piece of the enemy from within, from Maria Bartiromo's interview, to be tied to the piece from your town hall, Harris, where you asked the former president about the enemy from within. It just had the piece about the town hall, and just take a listen to what I meant to roll.
I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
My point is that we asked him the question about that sentence and what he was trying to mean.
Okay, here's what's wrong with that excuse. Watch this next clip and pay attention to how he says, we asked President Trump about that, and he plays Trump's response. Take a look.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked about that specific...
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you.
That was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that.
So he played Trump's response. He did not play Trump saying that. He didn't ask for that to be played. He said, here is Donald Trump's response to that. And that's what he played. And when Kamala called him on it and said, in all fairness, Brett, that's not what he's been saying. You didn't play what he's been saying out there on the campaign trail. At no point did he look around at his producers and go, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I meant for you to play the clip. He didn't do that. He sat there and he continued to double down, and now he's out there trying to do damage control. And in this next clip, he's trying to say that all Kamala came for was a soundbite, and he guesses she got it. Take a look at how stupid this is.
I think she had a mission that she wanted to do, and maybe she wanted to have a viral moment. She wanted to have a pushback. She came to Fox News and she wanted to have a go after Donald Trump viral moment that plays on a lot of other channels and on social media. And I think she may have gotten that.
It's hilarious to me that Brett Baier thinks that Kamala Harris just came to that interview to get a soundbite when Donald Trump's entire career has been built off soundbites. That's his entire platform. Donald Trump is nothing but cliches and catchphrases and WWE Jerry Springer style rhetoric that he can capitalize on. Every time Donald Trump sits down for an interview, if he doesn't get softballs thrown his way, then he sits there and he pouts and he whines and he complains and he calls the reporter the enemy of the people. He calls them fake news. He goes down into that whole rabbit hole of pulling that out of his ass, and it's absolutely disgusting. And now he wants to say, oh, well, Kamala just came here looking for a soundbite. I guess she got one. Really? When your guy is the absolute king of the sound bites, that's what he thrives on. If it wasn't for soundbite and clickbait, Donald Trump would not exist. His platform wouldn't exist. They built their entire platform on that. It's so funny to me watching them find every excuse out there to put down Kamala Harris. They said she couldn't do sit-down interviews. They said she couldn't take questions. She's done it. They said, oh, she won't go on Fox News. She's afraid. She's afraid to go on Fox News. She goes on Fox News. She drags Brett Baier all over the place. She baits him. He walks right into it just like Donald Trump did. They sat back and watched that. Now they're in panic mode. Now let's try to go out there and pretend that we was going to play that clip originally. Now let's go out there and just try to say she was trying to get sound bites. They're doing damage control. If they really thought they did well with that interview, they would be saying so. If they really thought that Brett Baier had dragged Kamala, they would be saying so. Yeah, the trolls are saying it in the comment section on our videos. Yeah, there's trolls out there that are saying that. There's bots that are just paid to sit and type that crap and say that Brett Baier dragged her. But any reasonable person, including the people at Fox News, knows, hey, we really blew it on this one. That was their moment. That was her going into the lion's den, and they thought that they could eat her alive. They really did. But it didn't work out that way because Kamala Harris is a former prosecutor. She knows how to handle herself. The reason she's so quick-witted is because she's had to be her entire life. She's the only one, like she said, she's the only one that's actually fought criminals. She's the only one that's ever stood up to them. She knows the likes of Donald Trump, and she knows the likes of his henchmen. So when she's sitting across from Fox News, she doesn't care because she knows that type of person. And that's why she took it to Brett Baier, and that's why he crumbled. Just like Trump crumbled, and just like anybody else will crumble that they put up against Kamala Harris. They're not going to be able to beat her because she's so good at what she does. She's a competent leader. She carries herself well. She carries herself in a humble manner, with compassion and humility, and at the same time, she can get rough when she needs to. And that's the very type of leader that we need. I hear so many people saying, and a lot of people on the left are worried. They reach out to me, Brando, do you think we're going to win this one? Is things going to be okay? Make us feel like it's going to be okay. Well, it's not really that I'm trying to make you feel like it's okay. I just want you to look at this reasonable, okay? And just follow me. This ain't 2016, okay? In 2016, you had Hillary Clinton, who I do believe would have been a great president. But Hillary Clinton had the baggage of the Clinton name, and the right wing had went out of their way to demonize and make Hillary the villain. Donald Trump was a new face to politics. We had never seen nothing like that before. There were people out there who thought that if you give this guy here a shot, maybe he could do better. There were people that fell for that. And I understand why some people would have at that particular point in the game, because I, myself, was pulling for Bernie. And when me and my uncle would argue over that, because my uncle was hardcore behind Hillary, I was like, man, I've seen Bushes and Clintons in the White House my whole life. I want something different. So I understand people's desire to have something different back then. But now we saw what Donald Trump was like as a president. We saw what a disaster that was. We saw how he tried to overturn an election that he knew he lost. We saw January 6th unfold. We saw him become a 34-time convicted felon. We saw him be found liable of sexual abuse. So it's no longer locker room talk now. That's who he really is. And we don't have the division that we had back in 2016 when we had the people that were for Hillary and the Bernie bros who were mad and didn't want to go vote. That's not where we're at. We're united behind Kamala Harris because we realize what a great leader she's going to be, and she already is. And we see her just go out there time and again and take it to them. And every time they think they've got her cornered, they don't. Every time they think they've got her on the hook, they don't. She has carried herself so well during this campaign. She's did everything right, and it's been really cool to sit back and watch just how brilliantly she plays these people. It's hilarious to watch because they try to go out there and double down on their misogyny. They try to go out there and double down on their racism and their bigotry, and they think it'll get them over the finish line. But she doesn't even play into that. She just goes around that and still knocks them out, and it's been glorious to watch. So let's hang in there. Let's stay focused. Let's get Kamala Harris and Tim Walz over that finish line, and then we'll have to start picking up, like I've said so many times, we're going to be picking up the pieces from Donald Trump, and the stench that he's going to leave on us is going to last for a long time. There's going to be people out there trying to emulate it and trying to carry it on. There's going to be people out there trying to rebrand themselves as something more reasonable. We're never going to let them off the hook for that. We're going to keep our eye on democracy always. When Kamala wins in November, that don't mean take her eye off the ball. That don't mean get complacent. That don't mean think, well, maybe we should let them have another shot at it. No. These people have shown us what they'll do to democracy if they get it in their hands. They're never to be trusted with it again. Remember that. And And thank you so much for subscribing here on the channel. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and check us out over on Patreon if you want some exclusive content. I really appreciate you guys supporting what it is that I do, and you guys have a great day.